Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of the Boom Podcast. We're moving very fast here. We have our 12 guests. As always, I like to bring on people who can help you build your small business up, whether it's marketing, sales, or operations, or mindset, or procrastination. So my next guest is probably one of my interesting guests, I should say. He definitely makes me laugh. He makes a lot of people laugh as well. But it's just a weird sort of nerdery going on there that you kind of have to be really smart to understand his content, but you also don't have to at the same time, which is the whole point of what he does. So, James, how are you? Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Hey, I'm good. Thank you, Doug. What an intro. I make people laugh kind of sometimes. That's my goal. Oh man, I am an engineer by degree. I do have my engineering degree, but they should probably take it back. I started off, I did 10 years of engineering in medical device and then kind of found out that the cubicle wasn't what I loved. So I think it's cool and it's a cool story because I was sitting there for 10 years, like I said, just being not loving life, right? And that's what so many people do, and they want to reinvent themselves. And I was watching other people do it and felt like I never could. And now here I am. So I am a technical copywriter. I focus in the B2B space, but I found this great hybrid of using my engineering background and the mindset that I was taught in school, and then applying that to I fell deeply in love with consumer psychology and why people buy what they buy and why people do what they do. So basically, I found this hybrid mix of the both of them, which carved out like this amazing niche that there aren't many people that fill that role. So it was so perfect. So I don't know, was that good? Was that a good intro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a good intro. There's a lot to unpack here. I told you before we push record what we were going to talk about, and you're going to basically, what your intro did was going to help us get into that. So
Perfect.
I think the audience wants to know, especially copywriters, younger, newer copywriters, struggle getting new clients. And I think we all like to hear, how did you find copywriting? Because it's not like they teach it in high school. I mean, when I heard about copywriting, that wasn't a term you heard unless you were really looking to make money writing, then you will find that. So how did you stumble across it?
Yeah, so I didn't fall in love with copywriting first. I fell in love with marketing strategy. And copywriting is actually, I found, it's marketing strategy, but it's really like non-threatening marketing strategy. So let me explain that. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I always thought I would come up with a product. I'm an engineer, so I thought I would make a thing and sell it. But the problem is startup costs, and every idea I came up with was so expensive. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. I don't want to buy things from Amazon and break them down and resell them. It just isn't, it's great for some people. It'd be stressful for me. So my life changed when I met a 5'3" tall Asian man named Nemo, like the fish, who had dreadlocks down to his butt. Like I can't make this up. But yes, so this tiny man with giant Coke bottle glasses would walk down the streets in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where I live, and people from, across the street would yell, "Hey, Nemo!" The guy was like everyone knew Nemo. Nemo knew marketing, and Nemo knew people and psychology, and just you'd sit with him and it'd just blow your mind. I was talking to a friend today about T-Mobile and Sprint. They just did the switch, and he was trying to get into the store because they said, we're going to shut your SIM card off. And then all of a sudden they just mailed him SIM cards. And he's like, why did they tell me I had to go to the store? And I'm like, because they want you in there so you can upgrade your plan. There's psychology going on and all these things that we don't realize. They could have mailed him a SIM from day one, but they didn't. And Nemo woke me up to all that. And the world looked different. Everything was in color for the first time. Because I'm like, whoa.
You saw the Matrix.
It was. Yeah. So I'm like, this is amazing. So I knew I wanted to break into it. The problem is how. So I got into sales, and sales was good, and technical sales, because I got to actually talk to customers. Because you meet so many copywriters, marketers, whoever, that have never actually talked to a real customer in the wild, right? So having that experience and mentality people who write cold emails but have never physically talked to a human who's like had to receive them is just mind-boggling to me. So I did that. I made the transition to sales. What I did wrong that cost me years of zero income and frustration is I tried to be a marketing strategy consultant, like out the gate, because that's what I wanted to do. Ultimately, it's too much. And then what I found is that companies usually, they're started by like one egghead, one really smart person, and one marketing person. So am I just stepping on the feet of the marketing person? You know, they already have one. So why would I hire you for strategy? And then also the time sink, like it takes things, it's face-to-face, it's so much time involvement, and you can only handle so many customers. It was too much. So I tried that for years and it was horrible. I was doing outbound, I was doing all this, and I didn't get anything worth talking about. It was terrible. So I had kind of a sit down of like, what am I going to do? Am I going to close my business, or I don't know. And then somehow a bolt of inspiration, I thought copywriting is so non-threatening. You get to do the same thing. You're positioning entire companies. You're setting their entire messaging strategy. You're doing all this. But from the hireability side, from being hired, a customer, like it's a copywriter. It's non-threatening. Oh, I know what a copywriter is. I'll just hire a copywriter. They'll just help me write my blog. And then before then, you you get your feelers inside of a company and you start changing them from the inside, which is so sweet. So the biggest change there is realizing how to value yourself and that you are doing marketing strategy. You are not just writing a blog article, right? So that was the big thing. But that was the big transition. It was really funny. What led me to copywriting, like I said, was being viewed as small and non-threatening was why I picked copy, which is so funny because that's what nobody says, but that's what led me there.
That's interesting because my experience was the opposite of the word, meaning I didn't go into the market with strategy. I really, from the gate, went in, I want to write your email. Meaning that my reason for going into it at the time was because I didn't want to sit in meetings. I didn't want to do a whole lot of things. I simply wanted to handle one thing for you and get out, get my money and get out. And it wasn't until sort of a similar experience at yours, when you get in as a copywriter, you realize the whole strategy is a mess. My emails are not going to work because your strategy is terrible. You know, your landing page isn't set up for my email. Your social media organic will not get more email subscribers. Guys, let's do that. Let's change that. So the emails to be much more effective. At first, people are like, who are you? We hired you to write the emails. Don't worry about that. Dude, I'm telling you, fix that, fix that. And then the emails will work. And then it wasn't over time that I just positioned myself more recently. I do it all. Meaning the copywriting, the content, and the strategy, because you can't have one without the other. They both have to work together in tandem. And more importantly, I learned the hard way, you actually have to have a good product. You can't just market, garbage. You actually have to have a good product. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter how well you market, because if you don't have the thing, it's all for nothing, right, James?
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's funny, though. I think a lot of people are sitting on good products that they don't know how to market, so they blend in with everybody else. So it's kind of some people think they don't. I was trying to think of the best example that I love, which is totally ADD in my ADD brain, is like bubble wrap was originally supposed to be wallpaper. Did you ever hear? That's what they created. Bubble wrap was a new textured wallpaper.
Really? Wallpaper?
Yeah. And then Intel was like, hey, we can pack computers with this.
Asylum to make them feel good. They went up against the bubble wrap.
All right, I'm stealing that. I'm making that a gift right there. No, and then Intel got it. And Intel was like, hey, we could pack a computer with this and it won't break. And it totally changed. So some people, though, I have to fight to make them not mediocre. And that is what's funny to me, is it's like you do have a great product, but it's not great because of why you think it is. You think it's great because you're like everybody else. Therefore, you think you're great. But it's like you're great. Like usually it's so weird. But I find companies' weaknesses, what they think are their weaknesses, are their greatest strengths. But they don't think that way. So like a quick example, but like a regional company, if they have a small footprint, a small footprint, they see that as a weakness. I don't have the big footprint of the big guys, but they try to make themselves look like the big guys. And I'm like, oh my gosh, your biggest strength is that you are tiny, personal support, local, right there in your area code. We shop at the same Walmart, like, so it's really funny to me because, to your point, positioning, it's not as much science, but you can take, you can't have a total crap product, but in the same sense, you might think you have a crap product. The reason you think your product is crap and the reason you think your product are great might be totally flopped.
That's a great way to think about it. That actually makes sense. Before we get too much further, I know a lot of people who follow you will want to know, when did you get on LinkedIn? What was the strategy from the get-go? The reason why I say that is because even up to this day, I think I first started following you maybe 2 years ago, maybe. And
makes sense.
At that time, you were just on the peripheral. Like, I know that, but just moving on. And it started getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, what is James doing over there? And it's just getting really, and you started posting more and more. I didn't count, but it's like, oh, this guy's doing more than one post a day. He's obviously doing more, or maybe it feels like it. I don't know, but he's doing more than what other people are doing. So let's start from the beginning. When did you hop on LinkedIn, and when did you start taking it serious?
I can tell you, I can't tell you the exact date I got on, but I can tell you August 2020 is when I really re-engaged, or was it 2019? Is when I really re-engaged. I think it was 2019, August 2019. So originally when I joined, it was just like everyone else does when they join, sharing articles, throwing in a few comments, got zilch for engagement, nothing. I found a couple threads. Like, I am passionate about education, so we homeschool. I have a bunch of kids. I found some things would like hit a nerve with people and you'd get some responses, but that's not what I want to do, right? I don't want to be in education. So August 2020 or in 2019, sorry, everything kind of, you were on the cusp of a potential not lockdown, but the pandemic and all that stuff. And I was feeling the itch. So I made the mistake that a lot of people did. I started making I'll call it a meme, but it wasn't funny. They weren't funny memes, but they were business related. So it was like, marketing should talk to sales. If you're wondering what your customers are thinking, go talk to sales, because marketing doesn't talk to sales a lot. But it was just kind of the crap that everybody else posts. It wasn't very long posts. They're pretty darn short. Like I said, everyone was a picture. It took a lot of work to make and manage, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. And again, that was when I was trying to do marketing strategy. So the whole thing was kind of frustrating and tiresome. At that point, I remember I had about 3,500 followers at that time. So just for reference, man, I played with a lot of different strategies. I played with, it's funny because you can see kind of by the number of followers you have, you probably watch this too. People say certain things like between 5,000 and 10,000 followers, you start complaining about the algorithm. Every post complains about it. Not every post, but you know what I mean? Like when you see people complain, you go look and you're like, yeah, all right. You're in the, 8,000 followers. I get it. And it's kind of like a cycle you can start to see to this point when you have like 8,000 followers and you just repost your own tweets. But either way, there's like a pattern people tend to follow. So I did what other people did. But at that time, I started reaching out and making more connections. So Ariel Lee is one thing, is one person I connected with, or Coriolis, or there were certain people at that point. Chelsea changed her name, so I don't remember what her original name was now, her maiden name. But I
don't even know what her name is now.
I know it starts with a V. But I connected with some people, and I'm like, I'm going to actually call them. And so there were other people that I can't even remember if I've had a call with or not. But either way, I started actually talking to other people, communicating with other people. And then I started doing things like, I don't want to say it out of order. I wish I had it all in order. I did just an example of something that didn't work. I took B2B or B2C phrases. So like Skittles, taste the rainbow. And I was like, I did a series of posts converting those. What if a B2B company wrote it? Like, just to be funny. So it would be like, our product contains red 40, yellow 5, blue, whatever, because taste the rainbow turns into like crap. Just to say that B2B marketing is crap. Well, number one, I ran out of taglines. There are only so many good B2C taglines. Number two, it didn't really help my business at all. Nobody called me. So I started doing like the most technical concepts I could find, break them down in 1,300 characters. You probably remember those because LinkedIn would limit you at 1,300 characters. So I would write about things like string theory, chaos theory, the wave particle duality, like super technical stuff, and try to break it down in 1,300.
I remember that.
Yeah, and those went over well. What really did it, what really tipped the scales for me is when I did the LinkedIn ad rewrites. That's what most people know.
I remember those. That was very smart. Yeah.
Those were very hard. Those are very hard to just take somebody's, learn what you can about the company, try to put it together. I haven't done one in a while. I've done some like off and on, but what works about it, and here's the advice to anybody, whatever you do, build in public. I can't say Florian's last name, but most people know who I'm talking about when I say Florian. There aren't many Florians. He built his whole following, and he gets great engagement on building in public. He built a digital product in public. I helped him do it. We went through it. Other people got to see it. He got to involve other people on the platform, all that stuff. And you grow, you hit this new level of growth. I was doing copywriting challenges, where I was having other people who were copywriters come on and we'd go head to head. You're involving other people. You're making an event. And then if you want to be tricky about it, you get like bonus posts out of it because you announce the competition and everyone gets to pick the topic. You announce what the topic is. You announce who the competitor. So you got like a whole pile of posts like already written without much effort. The thing that takes the effort is the actual competition, right? And then it's a post. We'd post a poll so everyone could vote and all that stuff. What it's been lately is I try to think from the mentality of what would I want to learn. What post would I like to read? I love interesting facts. So I write posts about random interesting facts that are hilarious, and I try to make them fun and engaging and all that. And I think what would people want to follow just in general? So people in general like that because you want to be the most interesting person at any party, right? So by doing that, that's the morning post. That gets the followership up and gets people happy and communicating and all that stuff. And that's, again, I enjoy it too. And I've kept all those facts in my head, which is so cool because you never know when you get to bust them out. And then afternoon will be, so it's two to three a day unless my workload is just nuts. Afternoon would be something more, copywriting or client based. And then honestly, if you ever see me post at night, it's literally just off the top of my head or whatever I'm in the mood for. So that would be cool. A potential third.
It seems to me, from listening to all of that, is that you're just relentlessly experimenting, testing, sort of like an engineer. You're putting in output, getting input, output, testing, and then when you hit certain input, you do more of that. And one of the things I appreciate about the way you've gone about this is, one, you involve the community, right? You're bringing in people. Two, the ad tear down. Truth be told, when you did that, I could have swore some copywriter was gonna end it. That's my ad. You're taking away my job. Anyway, I don't know if you ever got hate mail for that.
Only one is I wouldn't say it was hate mail, but Search Spring. So Peter, the CEO, and I know him, so it's okay. But he was like, "This is crap." He just was not a fan of my rewrite. I rewrote a search, which is fine, and he posted it in the comments and whatever, and it's not a big deal. But he was the only one where he's like, I wouldn't have done it that way, and he had reasons, and that was fine. But that's fine. I just put it out there. So, but yeah, I like you. I was waiting for somebody to come down. Yeah, I've had a few people that didn't like them, but
yeah, your content is just so experimental. Meaning, you're not the standard LinkedIn poster, if that makes sense. Most people go on LinkedIn, they go, hey, here's 5 ways you can open your email. 1, 2, 3, or here's my wonderful company. We're so proud of our people. It's very standardized stuff. I mean, I'm sure maybe they get clients. I have no idea, but I don't like consuming that kind of content. Well, you're constantly trying different things. Are you able to sort of systematize what you do so it's more repeatable, or it's just at this point, it's just going with your gut?
I like content that writes itself. And what I mean is a lot of people struggle to come up with ideas. So this is a between 3,000 to 8,000 follower limit. They'll talk about, oh, I have no idea today. You know, I'm out of ideas. Well, so the LinkedIn ad rewrites, the beauty is they are paying for advertisements to give you ideas. They are literally paying to give me ideas, right? Because their ad shows up and I'm like, well, this is crap. This will be fun. But the fun, interesting fact posts, again, it's just things that I like to learn. So therefore I put them that way. And I post them that way. The problem I have is most copywriters write copywriting tips for other copywriters. So if you want to be picked up by another copywriter, like if you want go ahead. I can see it. You want to say it. You agree?
I refuse. People tell me, oh, you know who told me to do that? Stephen Pope. You know,
Yeah.
Steve, if you're listening to that, I refuse to follow your advice on that. I'm sorry, brother. But Stephen said, you should break down how to write good copy. I'm like, no, because I have Carol Bell to do that. You know, so I have other people that can teach you how to write really good copy. Or better yet, go pick up a book, you know. I don't want to be the guy that teaches you how to write copy. That's a way to get business for myself. I tried it. One of the biggest mistakes I made was I did that on LinkedIn when I first got on, but I took a Twitter approach to it because I came from Twitter. So I was rapid fire, really quick steps how to do it. No engagement, no business, no traction. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to teach you how to write good copy. I'm going to express an opinion about things I disagree with and things, just general strategy stuff. But I'm so glad that you said you didn't do it for yourself. What was the reason? What was your gut feeling about why you shouldn't educate people on how to write really good copy?
Because the clients that I want to get don't care. They don't care what the email says. They just want the email to work, right? So my thought is, and this is always my approach in sales too. I want people to want to hitch their bandwagon onto me. I want people who read and they're like, wow, that's really good. I want that. It doesn't, so it's not like I love a really good copywriting post with the here's 5 ways to open your email. And I love reading those. Those are so good. Sometimes though, they're just what everybody else does, or it's the next trend and then it gets watered down. But either way, I do like those for myself, but that's because I'm a copywriter. I like clients who are too busy to do their own copywriting, are not going to write their own emails. They just want somebody who knows how to do it. So when they see my stuff and they're like, that's funny and different, that's when they pick me up. So I somehow I exchanged something with Dave Harlan, I think. And he was saying, I don't know, like he uses profanity and he's so out there that you would never see in a B2B world. But he says, what I like is when people hire me, they kind of know what they're getting because they get an idea of what my tone is. So when they hire me, there's a blessing and a curse we'll talk about. The good part is when they hire you, they kind of know what they're getting. And if you deliver and they're like, this isn't what I expected, you're like, what on earth would make you think I'm anything different than this, right? But the curse is, I found last year, I learned the hard way over and over and over, I cannot sub out work because nobody writes like I do. Which, I'm not saying that to sound cocky. I'm saying that like it's your own voice is your own voice. I'm the same way.
I am the same way. People hire me, and then when I stub it out, they're like, but this is not you. They're confused by the copy they get and the copy they see from me online. So it's really difficult to teach people how to write in my style. So I try personally on the private side to educate clients that what you see on LinkedIn is not how I'm going to write copy for you. But if you like that kind of copy, that's a different thing. I'd rather write copy that attracts your audience and that get people buying from you. Maybe my voice isn't what you need. I want to be able to adapt to it. But it's interesting how we create a brand with our own writing style, right? Like people will, I want that. And it's like, it's tough to separate how you write from the work you can do for that, right?
Yep. Yeah, there's tone, and everyone has their own guide for tone. Most of them are garbage, but there is something you need to hit. There are certain people that use phrases and not and whatever, but we all kind of have our signature that you're going to pick up. Like it's like an accent. You know, we all have an accent we add on top of the words. It's just what happens.
Adam Fisk picked that up. You might not know him. Adam Fisk, the rock guy.
Yep.
He's like, he showed me an email. He's like, Doug, did you write that? How did you know? And it was like, because it sounds just like you. And so you're right. It's really hard to get rid of your tone, no matter how hard you try. There's always a sort of signature tone to what you do, and people can pick it up if they pay attention, right?
Yeah. So one quick thing, this ties kind of all of this together. We just did that Copywriting Challenge, which I don't know how to say it actually, which is funny.
Yeah,
so I found something, and it wasn't, again, I stumbled on it by accident. I stumbled on it because of Dooley, because of Camille Trent, and I was wondering how can I do something? She asked if I could do a post about Dooley, and I'm like, how can I make this fun? So I'm like, all right, let's make a competition. I'm connected to a bunch of copywriters. Copywriters on LinkedIn are afraid to actually publish work. They always publish tips, but they don't actually publish examples of their work, right? But that's what worked for me. So copywriters, publish examples of your work. We're all going to sell Dooley. Go, and we'll rank the winners or whatever. So we hosted this competition where, I don't remember, 13, 14 different people wrote on it. They all got likes, they all got shares, and I got quotes from people sending me messages. I screenshotted them all saying, holy crap, what did you do? My entire feed is about Dooley. And I'm like, well, this is kind of cool. As a company, you could buy an ad on LinkedIn, which is garbage, gets all this views, but nobody cares, maybe some crappy messages. Or you could write to me and I could host one of these competitions, and boom, we're going to have, all this engagement, other people writing their own posts about you that get shared to their own networks. This huge, right? Like, we just created this big thing. So I did one for an Australian nonprofit. I swear I did another one. I did one this week for this snack box company out of India, Authentic Indian Snacks. They wrote and said, can we do that? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so they sent me a box ahead of time and all that stuff. I just tallied it up today. There were 21 posts, 805 likes across all of the posts. I don't remember how many comments, 300 or 400 or something comments across all the posts. 21 posts shared to all their networks. I usually tally up the follower count to get an idea of like how many people could have potentially seen it, but it's huge. And again, I accidentally uncovered this infrastructure where if most people do a sponsored post, it comes off like garbage. Hey, my name is, and I love snack boxes from India, nah. But I can host this competition and I don't lose my authentic self. I'm not lying to anybody, hey, we're going to host this competition and everyone write your own thing and whatever. And it's a part of a challenge and you can win a prize and whatever. And it's like I created this like perfect infrastructure. But where I was going with that, where I struggle, because I've had people tell me, why don't you write a guide to write a good homepage? Why don't you write a guide to write a good headline or a hook or a blog? And I am working on one for hooks. The hard part is, if we look at that challenge that just happened, 21 people submitted their own posts. There are some that are weird and wacky and wonderful. Darren Rowley wrote a remixed Ogilvy ad. There are some that are different. Most of them are the same though. If you like delicious Indian food, this, it's completely vegan. There are sweets in it and sweets are great. But it's that kind of theme. Let's look at the box. So I haven't published mine. I haven't written it. But when I was thinking about it, I wanted to take a totally different approach, which is there are 11 types of people at every party. There's the loud one. There's the quiet one. There's the drunk. There's the, and run through all 12 and be like, which one are you? But hold on. There's one more. There's the interesting one. There's the one that everyone wants to be around, the one that always has a story, the one that brings the cool things, the one that keeps the party alive is the interesting one, right? Which is why I publish my daily posts. And so saying, here's your shot. You pick up this box. If you bring this, all this stuff, hey, everyone gathers around you. You're in the middle of the table. You're the one with all the stuff. Oh, check this out. You make the party, right? You are the one who makes the party. You are the interesting one. I would publish from that lens. And it's really funny though, how do you teach that though? Nobody wrote that. But when I'm envisioning, when would I use this box of random food? I'm not going to sit there and eat it all by myself, but that's what these ads are. Take yourself back to India, eat a whole box of food. I'm going to take it somewhere with a bunch of other friends and we're all going to try it and whatever. So how on earth do you put that into a document? That when I come across any product that
it's so organic that you can't really hard code it to be replicated. I mean, that's how organic it really is. It's not something. I would struggle if I listened to this call and I tried to type a document for you to replicate that. It would be really difficult to do. Quite honestly, I don't think I could even do it. I could try, but it wouldn't be the model that you're talking about right now.
Yeah, the example that I thought was, and I made a post about this, but it was like a Friday afternoon, so it sucked. Bad copy doesn't follow any of the rules. Bad marketing, bad copy, it doesn't follow any of the rules. You know, it just looks like crap. It comes off like crap. Mediocre, average copy that does averagely well follows all the rules, right? Because it's like, you know, you have the right, you use the 5 ways to open an email. You use all those things that the copywriters give you. But the like crazy freaking awesome stuff that makes it in all the books, again, it breaks all the rules. So it's like, you know, like if you publish that document, you will fill that middle belt of people who are mediocre, you know, but you won't crack that top echelon of like all these people, you know, there's a thing there. Like, and that's what's funny to me, that can't be taught. I can teach you to be average, and that's fine. You know, you can make good money, average, like that's cool for all those people who want to. But to break through average and to be exceptional, all the rules have to be thrown out, because those are the people who write the books, you know, who are not just featured in the books. And that's what's really hard. And the other thing is, it's terrifying being the person who's expected to do that, because, you know, I sit there and I write it and I'm like, ugh, my biggest enemy is not crappy copy. My biggest enemy is okay copy. Like when it's okay.
Okay, but
yeah, because it hurts worse. You know, if it's crap, I can fix it. Yeah, but if it's crap, I can fix it. We all know it's bad. We got to get on it. But if it's okay, you're like, because I don't want to be okay. I want to be better than that, right? So that's what's challenging. And you'll know this too. You'll deliver a customer something that's like, you have to say this. I had, without getting into it, a customer told me our best clients failed with someone else first. And actually 95% of our clients failed with someone else first before they came to us, and we were successful. I'm like, that's your line. 95% of the people who are our best customers or happiest customers failed with someone else first. That's a sales pitch. I mean, that's pretty much my about section. Anyway, they didn't want to publish it. The company didn't publish it because they're like, well, that sounds negative.
By the way, I didn't see it. I swiped your I don't know, I don't want to say structure of it, but I remember a while ago you said I'm the copywriter you hired after, you know, that. Yeah. I swiped it and I said, I love Corset because I'm the guy you hire after you take that course that didn't do anything for you. So that was a wonderful structure to that. So I fully admit it. I didn't plagiarize. I swiped it and just changed the A with the B kind of thing. So that was just a clever thing. It stuck to my brain after a full year.
I've had, from the headline, right? So I can explain high tech to my grandma. People reach out and say that. They laugh and they go, my grandma doesn't know what the heck I do. You know, she doesn't know what SaaS is. She thinks I'm talking to her mean, you know, or something. I've also had people steal the about section. I've gotten multiple clients who were like, that's me. I went to Fiverr. I went to wherever. It sucked. And now I'm here and I messed up once. How much does it cost to get it done well?
You know, it's kind of weird because you started the call talking about how you started out as a marketing strategist, right? And then you got narrowed to copyright. I think you come full circle. You're actually really a marketing strategist who uses copywriting as the tool, you know, because everything you just said in the last 5 minutes, you're talking like a strategist. You know, you're not talking like a copywriter. Most copywriters I speak to don't talk like that. They don't think big picture. They think so micro in what they do and the words that they put. They think copywriting is about words. I've always told people copywriting has nothing to do with the word. It has to do with the bigger picture that's happening at the moment. Who the audience is, how to leverage the audience into action somehow, and how, as you said, not to be okay. You don't want to be okay. It's either good or bad. Never okay. If it's bad, like you said, we can fix it. Or you can get rid of it. But okay copy, it's hard to get rid of, and it's hard to improve. And usually when people are okay, because they're so narrow and what they're looking at, they actually need to pull back and pull from things. So you might actually have a new vertical for yourself. You're an actually influencer marketer. You can.
No, it's something that I have. It's something I've considered, but I need to think about how to build it the right way. So I'm thinking, but it's usually when I start with a customer who's willing to play. I've had a couple people who have like social media networks. Why are you not LinkedIn? You know what I mean? Like, what is it about you? And we drill down. What I find usually, it's funny. When you work for a company, you have a great idea. They don't take your idea, but then they hire a consultant and the consultant says the exact same thing you said. And all of a sudden the company goes ape for it. Like, it's amazing, right? So I have found a few customers who actually let me do and they're not radical. It's just different. So you look at what a product, the company says they offer a certain product. They offer that product by that name because it's recognizable in the industry, right? So, I mean, I'm working with somebody who does push notifications. Let's say push notifications. Push notifications, they know what they are. Everyone hates them. The stigma is everyone hates them. We really don't hate them. There are some we kind of like. I like YouTubes because whenever somebody who I like, a musician, launches a new song, I like getting a note, right? Oh, new song, cool, I'll check it out. But the majority of them are total crap, which is why we turn them all off. So you look and you say, okay, so from this company, you're a push notification. Nope, everybody else is, right? So how am I going to differentiate you? How am I going to put you in a different light? So I'm going to label your competitors. So one thing, there are competitors that do more than that, but they don't do it with as much detail in this area. I said, okay, I'm going to label your competitors delivery platforms because that's what they are. So you're not a delivery platform. I sit on top of delivery platforms. So some people say, I already have X solution. Cool. I'm going to label that as a delivery platform, right? So now I put my label on the competitor. Now when somebody sees it, they're like, oh, that's just for delivery. This sits on top and actually makes it good, right? So I just labeled your competitors. Secondly, we need to relabel what push notifications are. It's category creation, right? Like I've talked to Christopher Lockhead. It is a form of category creation, but I need to break from the mental stigma and change the way somebody thinks about it. So the way people think about push notifications is I get people in my app. I need them to open my app. So I need to send them a message so they click it. That's it. That's all they think about. That's what the purpose is. How we've talked about relabeling is basically think of the best, like if you get a really good push notification, like I mentioned with YouTube, right? I get a YouTube and an artist I liked released a song. That makes me happy, right? Because like, oh, hey, I've wanted to watch. Oh, this is going to be cool. It's like delivering excitement or delivering joy, right? And then same thing, I know if my wife sees something for shoes or a couch or something, and oh, if it comes from Poshmark is one of her big ones, but one of those companies, like, so really, if you do it well, you're not just throwing something at someone so they click into your app. You're actually delivering happiness or delivering joy or delivering excitement, right? It's the crappy ones that don't. So if I can label you as you are a platform that delivers joy, happiness, excitement, the engagement will follow, the sales will follow, all of that. But now I'm different than just sending a push. So it's like some customers are willing to play and engage with me, and we do more fun things, and it's cool what we can create and kind of sit on the side and see it start to take shape. There are some people that are like, well, no, we just do push notifications. So like, okay.
Your mind is totally like a machine, James. Totally. Let me throw a code into this conversation.
Right,
we know almost nobody can have your mind. We know there's no other James out there, which is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
But let's say somebody come to you. Let's just say somebody come to you. James, can you teach me how to do LinkedIn and get leads on LinkedIn? Am I wrong in thinking you're probably not going to give them your exact strategy because it requires a certain mindset to do it? Is there a strategy you give, a generic strategy, or would you say, oh, just look at what I do and do it?
There's a couple things. No, so I don't have anybody do what I do, because other people have asked if they can try it, and I'm like, sure, and then they give up after a little bit. And it's not to say that I'm great at it. It's just it's not their blend, right? So the two things that I say to people is number one, well, three things. So number one is post about what you like, what you love, because if you're enjoying yourself, people reading it are going to enjoy themselves too. So don't focus on, don't do what you don't like. For me, the interesting fact one, like I said, I love learning new interesting things and being the one who always knows random facts. So therefore I enjoy it. And I think people also enjoy it, right? If we're of the same mind. The other thing is think about
guys who are really good at trivia, right? If we're playing a trivia game, you will win, right? Because all
not usually, but I'm getting better. Yeah, why I'm bad at trivia is one, I don't have a TV, and two, I don't do sports. And so like even Trivial Pursuit has sports. I don't know. I barely know what a football is. I know you're surprised because I'm so in shape. But yeah, I'm not a sports person. Anyway, so two, but I'm getting better at the trivia just because of what I'm posting. The two is focus on what your actual customer wants. So that's what we talked about not writing copywriting things, because you're not trying to get hired by a copywriter. The strategy does work. It gets engagement. You will get some, but more focus on the business owner and their pain that would be fixed with copywriting. And copywriting kind of sucks because of the name. It's really funny. Like a lot of people don't know what copywriting is or what copy is. So it's, a lot of business owners, you're not going to grab them with that text. You have to be somebody who knows what copywriting is. I did have a third point. What was it though? Have fun with it. Focus on what your customer wants and not what you want.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I'm hearing you talk. Well, not really. I'm watching you talk. What I'm picking up is engagement is really important to get more leads on LinkedIn. For me, on LinkedIn, there's a whole audience out there that would say engagement doesn't matter. Just do what you want and make engagement matter. We're here to get free, fresh, organic traffic. I mean, that's why we're here. Yeah. We want people in to look at our profile, look at our work, look at our tagline. But I want to hear it from you. Is engagement important?
Yes. I say differently than other people. I would say this is why if I broke my strategy down, I would say two things. The morning is a general engagement post. The afternoon is a business specific. Why does that matter? Well, number one, you want to entertain people in both, you don't want either to not like the other. So you don't want to go from like straight fun to like strictly business. But most of the people who comment, tag, whatever, blah, 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 that's not where the business comes from. And you've posted about this too. The business comes from the second connection, the third connection, the so-and-so told me about you, those people. So you would never get those second, third connections if you didn't have a first connection, right? So it's all about the right person. See, that's what everyone says. It doesn't matter if you have one view as long as that one's the right person. Yeah, but I'd like to increase the probability of me getting that one view. So anyway, so that's a strategy.
It's a numbers game.
Oh, it is to a degree. So there's the third thing, which I forgot to mention. It kind of plays into this too, but it's get other people involved. Just stop throwing posts at the wall by yourself. So like I remember Adina Edelman, I probably ruined her name. She does editing. So it's like I wrote a whole post that was like horrible. I mean, it had 2 periods and some sentences didn't have a period, no capitals. It hurt me to write. It hurt me physically. I used the wrong to. I used the wrong there, all that. And then I tagged her in it like, I'm just here to give you a bad day. I don't remember what I put, but something like that. But you're involving other people. I've done, the copywriting competitions involving other people. So I would say find somebody who's not like I'm not going to, although I've done it to Dave Gerhardt, I'm not going to these people who have like 1 million followers. I'm going to someone who's the next echelon. So if you have 1,000 followers, find somebody who has 5,000 and is willing to collaborate with you in some way. If you have 5,000, find somebody who has 10, 15, right? If you have 15,000, find somebody who has 20, 25, 30, whatever. But find people who are, either similar to you or, a little above you and find a way to engage with them. I'm literally, my lathe is on the other side of this wall. I'm wood turning a pen for Ariel, for Ariel Lee. But it's like, it's just fun because I'd give her one anyway, and she's nice and we've talked forever. But I get to post making it because everybody likes watching things on a lathe. Wood lathes are amazing. And then when she receives it, she'll probably write something up. You know, I've seen Michael Eccleston, good gracious, does a great job about this too. He made those stickers. Like, I forget what he said, sexiest accountant on LinkedIn or something. And he gave those out to people.
Oh, yes,
and they all had his sticker.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like, it's find a way to collaborate with other people, because that's really that's next level. So.
But it's totally right. The more you involve people, the more you compound your growth, because you're leveraging other people's networks. So if you and I collaborated on something and your audience comes to me, my audience goes to you, we both grow at the same time, especially if the stuff we put out there isn't crap. We can grow at a steady rate. And if you keep doing that, it's really a compound effect game at this point. But I don't think you're doing that because you're gaming the system. I think you generally enjoy collaborating with people in competition and having fun. The byproduct of that is compounding the effect, right?
One of my favorite things, and number one, it's a network, and it's, they're friends and they're whatever. And you and I can rattle off a million names back and forth of people and why they stand out to us. And that's awesome. One thing that I really like is finding somebody who is posting like really good stuff, like really good, but is not recognized. So you find somebody who just like every post is like amazing, but yet they have like 200 followers. That's my favorite thing. Cause then I love, like, has anyone seen this random person? Like, they are so good, like, let's blow them up. Cause have you read it? It's fantastic. And then somebody gets like 200 followers overnight and they write to me and they're like, that was so awesome, you featured me. And I'm like, well, I only did it cause you're good. But that's another fun. But that's part of the community, right? I'm not doing it because this person's 200 followers will see me. Okay. It doesn't matter. What matters is there's somebody who's creating great work who should be recognized, right? And it costs nothing for me to just highlight somebody else. So I love that. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, also, this entire conversation's been about 15 minutes long, and you've already challenged me on my own strategy in the back of my head. There are things I need to start doing more of, or start incorporating things into, because I'm going to be honest, when you kind of talked about the 8,000 follower kind of thing, that standardized thing, well, we're both past that mark, but I'm also reaching a point where I don't know, your ego starts to get a little inflated, and you gotta humble yourself. So, and I don't think people will willingly challenge their own ego. That's why you see people who hit past a certain metric, they think they can just retweet their tweet onto that, and that's enough to get engagement. I've never subscribed to that, but one of the things I have lost in this short spike is I used to incorporate people into my content, like the strong challenge, things like that. So I've got to get back to doing that. I don't know why I stopped. I've just been too massive aggressive, just attacking people left and right. But that's me. That's what I enjoy doing. I don't do it for a fact. That is actually how I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every once in a while it's good to recycle some stuff. So I agree. I also feel like pride is something that I try very hard to stay away from as much as possible. So it is, to your point, always a challenge, but it's not hard because I know a lot of great people who are way ahead of me, right? I'm just one person on a journey like everybody else. I just
like
either started
Eddie,
earlier or
goodcopy.com or whatever. What's his name?
Eddie.
Yeah. I mean, that guy's up. I'm never going to be able to touch that wrong. I don't know. People are going to be, no. There's something about him that people just worship every post he ever puts out. And I'm just not at that level. I don't want to be. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. But Eddie, it's just so far away from what we do. Well, maybe for me, he feels too far away in terms of something to strive for. Do you see yourself working towards that, or just doing your own thing?
At this point, honestly, I'm just having fun. So it's entertaining for me. It's good. It's fun. I have enough business that I have plenty. After last year, like I said, I'm not subbing anything out because that makes more work for me. So therefore, I'm taking everything. And like I literally had someone dump a whole bunch of stuff on me last month. Well, this month earlier that is due by the end of this month, which I'm a little bit freaking out about. But like I have enough. I don't need to skyrocket. That said, so anyway, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. I don't have plans of ever, everybody checks to see, oh, did I break 30,000 yet? Nah, I didn't. I'm still at 28, but that's not my ultimate goal. I'm at a good place where I'm getting a good amount of everything. That said, I did have a call with Eddie before because I've called him out several times when people have asked who I really like and that kind of stuff. So he actually reached out to me and was like, hey, can we just chat? Because like you tag me and everything. I'm like, sure. So I had a chat with him. He's a way cool guy. It was right before his first baby was due. So we were talking about that but one talk with him, here's a beautiful thing. Mentorship is amazing. And that's why, people should buy your course and all that stuff and participate with you. I had one talk with him and I asked, how much do you charge? Because it's things that people don't publish online usually. And my rates were like a sixth of what he charged. And I'm like, okay, I'm no Eddie, but I could charge at least half, like if I'm no Eddie.
Should.
Sure.
I have no idea what his rates are. I'm sure it's astronomical, but nobody should be charging, anything less than $1,500 minimum for any copy job that can produce a result, because the company is probably going to quadruple that. So why shouldn't you get paid for your percentage of that? I mean, so yeah, go ahead.
So one talk with him, and I think I doubled my rate that day. And all of a sudden I was still getting the same amount of work. And I'm like, huh. And then since then I've over doubled it from what it was when I talked to him. And like, it's just, so I've talked to other people. I won't call them out, but I've talked to other people and pseudo mentored, not an official mentorship because it's too much. I can't add it on right now. But there was one person who was in India and he's like, yeah, how much would you charge for a piece of work? And I told him what I'd charge. And he's like, oh my gosh, that's more than my monthly salary. And I said, it doesn't matter. Actually, there are two people from India I've talked to. It doesn't matter where you live anymore. You have an advantage being in India because you can charge the same amount that I can. It's about the quality of your work. It just means you can retire at 30 years old and I got to keep working.
Yeah, I've told people who I've taken under my wing, one from Serbia and the other one is from Nigeria. And they were both like, this is what I charge. I'm like, you charge what? And it's probably how much I spend at McDonald's, I'm like, what are you charging? Oh, well, I'm in Nigeria or I'm in Serbia, not a big deal. No. Yeah. Who's the client? Oh, they're American or they're better. You need to charge this amount. Oh, no, they will never hire. No, you need to charge this amount.
Yeah.
And but they know I'm from Serbia. So you say, this is the work. Here are my testimonials. Here's the outcome that we're going to work together on. I know what, and the guy from Serbia is the only person who took me up on that. And he got a $2,000 copy job that took him a week to do. He didn't even make $2,000 in 5 months combined. All from taking my advice. No, this is $2,000 minimum. But I'm from Serbia. I don't care. You're from planet Earth. And the client is American. They can pay for it.
Oh, yeah. Nope. I had the same one. I had somebody send me something that this was Indian and it was very similar though. They would write this whole thing for like $30. And I'm like, 30? And I said the same thing. This would be minimum 1,500. And they're like, 1,500. So they offered 600 or something. They were nervous, tested the water, offered 600 and they got it. And I got a phone call. I got a WhatsApp call that was like, oh my gosh, they took it oh my gosh, next time I should ask for more. I'm like, well, yeah, you get it. So it's the best feeling in the world too. You just made somebody's
best feeling in the world. All right, man, we're running out of time easily. We could have done another hour. James, I want to get you back on in a couple of weeks to talk about more things. Would you be up for that?
I would.
Right.
You're asking me now, so if I say no, I look like a jerk, right?
That's true.
Just kidding.
All right, folks, I'm going to leave James' LinkedIn stuff in the description below. James, you don't have a website yet, right?
I don't. I'm working on it. I've been working on it for like a year. It'll be there someday. I keep getting client work. If everyone would stop giving me work, I could launch a website.
You know, I've gotten my website after everybody blunging me on LinkedIn. Simon, elite. They all say, you got to get a website. I got the website. No leads from the website. I'm sorry, folks. I get my leads from LinkedIn. Thank you very much. So anyway, folks, I will leave James' stuff in the description below. Please check him out. If you don't know who he is, I highly recommend it for a laugh and to learn some great strategy. See, James, not about copywriting. You're teaching us strategy. You can see it if you pull back and see what's going on. So thank you for joining me, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Pete, have a good one.